Alright, we're here for another Captain A battle report. This time we're in the Captain A's den in my wonderful garage here on my home built table with custom terrain. We're playing, my buddy's getting back into Space Marines and we're trying him out. This is a list that he had before, so we're tweaking it and going White Scars with Khan to get his tanks to be able to scout up forward with the Hammonators. And I'm trying out something weird. I'm trying Grey Knights with White Scars on bikes. Kind of an anti-Jet Seer, anti-Screamer Star list, potentially. And just kind of seeing how I might do against other lists. So we'll be going back for after deployment. Dun dun dun. Alright, we're at deployment. I went for kind of a long, stretched out deployment. I have one objective here, playing big guns, never tire, Dawn of War, attack bikes, bike squad, Centurions with Cochise, bike squad, another bike squad with flamers, my Thunderfire cannons in that bolstered terrain with another objective right there. He deployed a bit and moved out a bit, but stayed out of melter range. We had some conversations about what would be the best thing for them. Has got tack squad over there, 5-man tack squad in the Rhino, 5-man tack squad in that bolstered ruin, and you did want to bolster that one, right?
Yes.
And scouts in there with the Thunderfire hidden underneath, and that ruins. And we're going on to turn 1. He is not going to seize. Alright, we're here with Space Marines and Grey Knights, the Ghost Dragons. That's what they're being called right now. Turn 1. So I made a big mistake and split fire, so I couldn't shoot at the other Land Rider. I don't know what I was thinking. But hey, live and learn. Hard lessons is where you learn the lessons. So we did one whole point and blew off the assault cannon, and then the bike squad was ineffectual. The other bike squad did immobilize that Land Raider, but they're going to get charged this turn. So it's going to be interesting to see how this all pans out. It's going to get really bloody really quick. Killed 2 scouts over there, and they did fine. Thunderfire cannon did some wounds and killed 2 Space Marines, but they held. So kind of what we're thinking tactically, he's going to try and just kind of rush through here with his Hammonators, which I don't have a ton. That can really hurt them a ton. I said ton a lot. That's kind of what I do. So we'll see what happens. It's going to get really bloody really quick here on Space White Scars. His White Scars turn 1. Alright, turn 1 for the Land Raider White Scars was quite good. As expected, piled out of those Land Raiders. And alright, turn 2 for the Grey Knights and Space Marines. Fired a bunch into those Terminators and took a few out. Khan is still golden, and Thunder fired those tack squad and killed a good amount of them, but they're holding just fine. And we're going over to White Scars turn 2. Alright, turn 2 for the White Scars Space Marines. He got a lucky shot with his bolter on my Thunderfire cannon, and I failed my armor save on the Tech Marine Gunner, and he is dead. That was really hilarious. Made one assault up in here to the Sky Shield. I tanked them all on my Chapter Master, and only took 2 wounds. Made my leadership test, and then I hit and ran out with the Chapter Master's Chapter Tactics, White Scars. Peeling back this way, his Thunderfire cannon did really good and pinpointed a couple guys out of that bike unit, but they made their leadership test. And now we're going on to turn 3. It's been a really great, close game. Turn 3 for the Ghost Dragons. Scouts didn't come in. I moved up this way, fired into the scouts up there, but did nothing. Fired down there into the 2 tacks, did nothing. The big news is fired up in here to the guys up there and killed 3 of the Terminators out of that unit. That was really big for me. And just going to see what happens. Right now, he'll have 1, 2, 3, 4 objectives, and I'll have 1, but I'm going to try and push over this way to take those guys out and swing up that way in the later turns and try and pick some of these guys off the other objectives. So going on to White Scars turn 3. All right, White Scars turn 3. There were 3 Centurions here, but the orbital bombardment from his chapter master made them no more. That was hilarious. Popped into the Land Raider, scooting this way. Did some other pot shots. Nothing really panned out, but hey, what's that? 280 points from one little shot. I think he'll take it. On to turn 4. Turn 4. Swept up this way. Did a bunch of shooting into the Thunderfire Cannon and assaulted it with the attack bikes. Locked in combat there. Didn't do anything to the Thunderfire Cannon, but he did 1 wound to me. Chapter Master split off from Kodiaz and turbo boosted that way. Gonna try and get into it with one of those squads over there. And the champions of the turn, the scouts, came in and killed 1 attack marine, and he fled back. So that was big news. I forgot to say on last turn, he fired his multi-melton assault cannon into my Storm Raven and shook it for the turn. So peeled off a hull point, and I was snap shooting over there and didn't do anything. So turns are moving quick, and we're getting down to the wire. Turn 4 for White Scars Space Marines. All right, that was a pretty devastating turn. The Terminators popped out of that Land Raider and got into combat with my attack bikes, and Khan went Super Saiyan and rolled 3 instant deaths on them, and they're just gone. That was hilarious. Did some firing over here and killed off 2 other bikes. Made my test, but there's only 1 there. It's looking really grim for the Ghost Dragons. He assaulted me over there, and I hit and ran out, but I went way too far. Now he's on that objective. That's great. That's great. So we're going to see what happens on my turn 5. Here we are, turn 5. Interesting. Good and bad, I guess. The Storm Raven went into hover mode and shot those guys off of the objective. The Chapter Master went in there and killed 3 of those guys, is contesting that, and they held. My scouts tried to assault this guy, try to get back on the objective, and rolled 3 1s. And yeah, turbo boosted over here, because he's got that one over there locked down. Going on turn 5 for White Scars.
Carnage continues.
Bottom of 5, tight, crazy game. Chapter Master killed those guys over there and moved this way. He's bringing his last other tacticals coming over towards this objective and trying to block me off over here and moving these guys to support this lone tactical guy over here. So we're going to move on and see what we can do to turn 6. Alright, we did turn 6 all together. A lot of quick turns. Thunderfire missed. Guys snapshot and missed. He moved and ran over here to this objective. And the game is going on to turn 6, so I have a shot. I have a chance. Maybe, if things hold out. Going on to last turn, turn 7. Alright, we did turn 7 all together. Basically, these guys just squished these guys in combat. He flew over here and piled everything he could into those guys on his turn. Killed the Inquisitor that was with them, but not the dude. And he killed my Chapter Master in a challenge over here. So right now I'm scoring 1 objective. He's scoring 1 objective, but he has 2 heavies that he killed for big guns to retire, giving him 5. And then he has First Blood, Slay the Warlord, and Linebreaker.
2 objectives. Oh, that's not... Yeah.
Those aren't scoring.
Okay.
And I had none of these secondaries, so he wins 3, 4, 5, 8 to 3. Great game, good sir. Fantastic. That was hilarious. Good times. Welcome to another Captain A Tactics report. This was an interesting game against a friend of mine who's getting back into 40K. We had originally worked with him for a local tournament called the OFCC, a 4-man team tournament type of thing. And we had worked on building him a Vulcan list, so we had like a couple Land Raiders and Hammernators and all that good stuff. And so just trying to figure out what would work with what he has in 6th edition with the new Space Marines Codex, and the idea came out, why not try White Scars with Con, making them all scouting. So that's what we did. We just kind of came up with this. So he has one Land Raider has Con, one Land Raider has a Chapter Master in it with all the fixins. And yeah, it was interesting. It was an interesting game because he's a newer player. He doesn't know the rules very well. So it was me versus essentially him and me. So in a way, I guess I kind of won because I helped him a lot. Like for instance, we would talk about like there was a key turn where he put his orbital bombardment on my Centurions and Chapter Master and Kotiaz, and with the placement that he was going to do, the wounds would have ended up shifting over to the Chapter Master, who has that 3-up invulnerable save, an Eternal Warrior. So I showed him how to maximize his profits by making the whole of the orbital bombardment more centered over the 3 Centurions, since I had forgotten about his orbital bombardment, and they all died. So that was pretty terrible. His list is interesting because it's kind of different. It could easily be one of those spoiler kind of things that if people don't know how to deal with it, could cause a lot of problems for them. And being able to scout forward like that gives him some opportunities to really apply pressure early by bulging out those Hammernators to get it right into your face and into your lines. My biggest mistake was shifting my bike squads to go after the 2 different Land Raiders. I should have focused on one to try and take it out. Some other small mistakes here and there, but it was a really fun game. It worked out so that we went to turn 7, which in ways were good and bad. I had some shots to win it, but he got his guys back into his Land Raider and all the way back over to the other side of the field to help out one of his troop squads, and just kind of wore me down and took me out. And yeah, the list I was using is kind of a concept list for that would have potential to deal with Screamer Stars and Jet Seers. And there's all this debate on the forums and online and with gaming groups and whatnot about what to do about these 2 units. And I don't know that I'm in that situation where I don't know if I want to build a list that can beat or has a chance at beating those lists. Hey, I'm on my phone. I'm making a voice recording. Anyway, as I was saying, I just don't know if I care about it enough. I'm thinking about like some tournaments I could go to, and like I know I'm above average. I'm not the best player. I play more for fun than to win. I'd rather lose a close game than just utterly stomp somebody, because that's not fun, especially for the other person when they're just getting destroyed. And it's like I think I'd rather just make lists that I enjoy and are competitive as a whole, and are going to require me to maybe try some different things and do some different things against some of those Jet Seer and Screamer Stars. My personal hatred is Tau right now, so I'm building more lists to handle and deal with Tau, because I'm so sick of them. So much so that I'm taking some units in some of my later lists. Not too many, just the Tau Commander to go with the Centurions. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, so that's kind of where I'm heading at. And this list I tried with my friend is a list I've never tried before, and one that I knew would have a lot less effect on him. And so I thought that was a good test for me to see how it would work. And although I think it worked okay, I just made some big mistakes in some certain areas and forgot about some stuff, which shows I'm not the best tournament player out there, which is fine. I'm not trying to be. But yeah, it was interesting to see how it all worked together. And like his list, he couldn't really handle the Storm Raven, even hovering, had a hard time with it, and was able to. That was actually almost made me win the game because I was able to use him and the Chapter Master to clear off some objectives, and it was just a couple last objectives I couldn't handle him, taking him off of and keeping, and lost me the game, which is fine. It's all a learning process. So it was a good time. It was good fun. It's always good to help out another player and show him how to do things, and I learned some things in the process. So that is my report for this battle report.